Welcome back to CBS 7 Morning News. I'm Sarah Strackhouse, filling in for Chris Descamilla. Before we get into this morning's top stories, let's get a look outside with Greg Morgan. Greg, what are we looking at today?
Hey, it's a very muggy start to the day. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, everyone, and a happy Friday Eve. Liking that. We are muggy across the area this morning and very warm for most locations, especially east of the Pecos River. But even a few spots south and west of the river are seeing warm and muggy conditions. In fact, one of those is the city of Fort Stockton. Let's take a live look outside in Fort Stockton this morning. You see a lot of clouds moving overhead. You'll see mostly cloudy conditions, I think, to begin the day. And temperatures are going to run in the neighborhood of 70 for most locations. You have a dew point all the way up at 66. You cannot take the top number and cool it below the second number. If you're at 66 and you get down to 66, that third number hits 100% and you just don't get any cooler. You reach the saturation point in the atmosphere. You can't see, it almost looks like a little bit of fog trying to develop off in the distance there. Southeast winds at around 10 to 15 miles an hour. I think that cloud deck's going to be with us much of the day. That'll really slow the pace at warming down a little bit, and as a result, your high temperatures today will be a little bit cooler than yesterday, probably a bit cooler than what you'll see tomorrow as well. We'll talk more about that in the extended forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
While you were sleeping, one person was shot near the 200 block of Northwest 3rd Street in Big Spring. Details are limited at this time, but CBS 7 News has confirmed with the police department that the shooting happened around 11 o'clock last night. Injuries on the victim are still unknown. Make sure to stay with CBS 7 and CBS7.com for the latest on this developing story. And the search continues this morning for a murder suspect. Odessa police responded to a call of shots fired in the alley near the 1100 block of Del Rio around 7 on Tuesday night. 2 hours later, police responded to Medical Center Hospital in reference to a gunshot victim. He was later pronounced dead. Police discovered that 24-year-old Jose Chavaria was shot in that area. An arrest warrant for first-degree felony murder has been issued for Isai Salvatierra. Anyone with information should call police or Odessa Crime Stoppers at 432-333-TIPS. An Odessa man being charged with a third-degree felony after police say he attacked his grandparents. Zachary McCreary was arrested yesterday morning after Odessa police officers responded in reference to an assault. The investigation revealed that he got into an argument with his grandmother and hit her in the head, and then he struck his grandfather on the left side of his neck with his fist. CBS 7 News and our radio partners at ICA Broadcasting are working with the Red Cross to raise money for victims in this week's flooding in Texas. On Friday, we'll be taking donations right outside the Music City Mall, which will be set aside for Central and East Texas flooding victims. We're challenging West Texans to support areas in our state where people lost loved ones and homes after severe weather. You can donate from 11 in the morning Friday until 1 in the afternoon. The death toll from devastating storms and flooding in Texas and Oklahoma has risen to at least 20. As search and rescue teams in Texas continue to look for those still unaccounted for in Wimberley, another storm Wednesday triggered a tornado in the town of Canadian, hitting an oil rig and injuring 3 people. The threat of more severe weather this week could hamper ongoing cleanup efforts. Our news partners at K Bueno 106.7 Radio are collecting donations for Ciudad Acuña tornado victims. The donation drive is open today from 7 to 7. You can drop those donations to ICA Broadcasting at 1330 East 8th Street in Odessa. With your eye on the nation, the Centers for Disease Control is investigating a possibly dangerous mistake by the U.S. military. On Wednesday, Pentagon officials confirmed the shipments of live anthrax samples from an Army facility in Utah to labs across the country close to 24 personnel at a U.S. military base in South Korea may have also been exposed. So far, no one's fallen ill. Some lab workers have already received recommendations to take antibiotics. There could be more fallout in the FIFA corruption scandal. Swiss prosecutors are now looking into bids for the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. The investigation comes after federal prosecutors indicted 14 federation leaders and corporate executives on Wednesday on charges of racketeering, bribery, and other crimes. FIFA's president is up for re-election this Friday. And as the talks of Trans-Pecos pipeline continues, Congressman Will Hurd traveled to Alpine to address issues in a meeting with residents. Many citizens in danger of losing their land to eminent domain made their voices heard yesterday morning. Congressman Hurd announced that the final map will not be finalized until 95% of landowners have been notified and spoken to.
You know, a natural gas to Mexico is a good thing, but you know, a lot of times these things come down to property rights and information, and so I want to make sure that you know, the folks in this district have all the information that they need.
And citizens also presented concerns to Congressman Will Hurd about safety and environmental hazards. A recent article from Business Insider shows that last week's oil rig count declined by only one. The article stated that even though it was the 24th straight week of a decline, this is the slowest pace that they've seen during the slowdown. A Goldman analyst believes U.S. producers will ramp up activity just as long as West Texas intermediate crude oil prices remain at $60 a barrel. The City of Andrews will revisit its oil and gas ordinance today. City Manager Glenn Hackler says that it has been decades since the city's guidelines were revised. The City Council will discuss the ordinance today with plans to model it after Midland and Fort Worth. Hackler says they will include businesses in their discussion, and it will be months before a vote takes place. If you use Instagram, you might not realize that the photos you could be sharing could be sold for cash. New York photographer Richard Prince printed out Instagram photos from strangers' accounts and posted them up in an art gallery. The Washington Post reports that some of the prints sold for more than $90,000.
Now, your pinpoint weather forecast from the CBS 7 Ford Weather Center.
Time now is approaching 6:41. But before you head out the door, go to work or go to school, let's check in with Greg Morgan and the latest on the weather outside. Greg?
Absolutely. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, everyone, and a happy Thursday. Let's start with a look at your pinpoint day planner. We're seeing mostly cloudy skies this morning. It's been kind of quiet across the area this morning. It was very active yesterday evening. They had a lot of severe weather across the region. In fact, I would say more counties than not had severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings associated with them. So it was a very, very busy night across the area. Now, the weather did back down a little bit in the overnight hours. We're giving way to a quiet start this morning under mostly cloudy skies. 70 degrees to begin the day. South winds 10 to 15, but it looks like the wind speeds will increase as we head into the afternoon. That'll be just like yesterday, really ushering in that moisture. And so you have a southeast wind 15 to 20 on mostly cloudy skies. And the thunderstorms that do ignite will potentially become severe with hail, high winds, isolated tornadoes, even very heavy rainfall. 85 degrees for the high today. The red shaded area is where you see your greatest threat of thunderstorms that produce severe weather, and that's hail 3/4 of an inch or larger, wind speeds in excess of 58 miles an hour, and or tornadoes. And that'll be in the red shaded area. The rain threat is anywhere in this green shaded area, and it does look to be a very heavy rain threat, especially over our eastern row of counties and then on into central Texas. As a result, flash flood watches have already been hoisted up for locations across the Concho Valley, the Texas Hill Country, back into north central Texas. Flood warnings continue for many locations around the Dallas-Fort Worth area, all the way down I-35 back into the Texas Hill Country. Here locally, we have not issued any watches, warnings, or advisories just yet, but we may need a flash flood watch given just a little bit of time. So you do want to stay tuned for any watches, warnings, or advisories. We may issue those a little later in the day here, possibly by this afternoon. So we'll again update you throughout the course of the day. 85 expected for the high this afternoon. 60% chance of storms today. A 20% chance seems warranted for the Friday time frame. But I don't believe that'll be the case all day. I think storms will quickly vacate the area from west to east tonight. We'll see, I think, quieter conditions going into your Friday. But it is possible that by early evening on Friday, or I should say late in the evening on Friday, early in the overnight hours, we could see a threat for some thunderstorms capable of producing some very heavy rainfall, possibly by 10 p.m., 11 p.m. or so. So I will keep at least a slight chance mentioned on your Friday's time slot there. I think overnight Friday into Saturday, some very heavy rainfall is likely across much of the region as a large complex of storms moves south out of the Texas Panhandle. So that'd be kind of unusual. The storms have been hitting us from southwest, moving northeast. The storms Friday night to Saturday will move from northwest to southeast. Across the region. That'll all be on the heels of that cold front coming through, which, as you can see, provides you some cooler temperatures over the weekend.
Okay, and that's 60% today. If we do see it, would it be during the day or would it be later into the evening?
Yeah, probably afternoon. I think most of the morning looks good. Early afternoon's probably not so bad, but by 3, 4 o'clock, storms will start developing, probably in the same areas they did yesterday out to the west. But instead of staying out to the west, they'll probably develop and move to the east much quicker than yesterday, and ultimately produce much more widespread rainfall and severe weather. So stay tuned.
All right, Greg, thanks so much.
Bet.
Coming up after the break, we have your medical headlines. A new study is released on multiple sclerosis, how a college degree can keep the pounds off for married couples. Stay with CBS 7 Morning News.
That's a lie. Morning, everyone.
Welcome back.
Happy Friday Eve. I just tried to say Thursday and Friday Eve at the same time, and it came out like Friday.
Friday,
okay.
It's now time for News of the Strange.
Catchy, I like that.
Yeah, it's like
Friday.
If anyone's seen Mean Girls, I hate to throw this out there, but Gruel. She starts to say great and cool. Gruel.
Cool. Okay, yeah. We're just
One of
making
those.
words up this morning. Webster's will be calling us later.
WTF was put in yesterday. We read that story.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. All right.
All right, some news of the strange.
Always like strange stuff.
Always like it. Shaquille O'Neal is a fountain of great video. In case in point, the guy works out with his TNT colleague Chris Webber. Yes, he literally works out with Chris Webber. As you can see in the video, the former NBA player put on Instagram.
Seriously?
Yeah, I
Let's see
guess
this
so.
again.
There he is.
Okay. It's kind of odd.
And skating rink DJ Tim Maloney will probably watch where he's walking from now on.
Oh, no.
After a close encounter with a snake. You can see in the security video he's looking at the phone and not the ground. And then he steps on the snake. After biting his leg, it quickly slithered away.
After
Freaks
biting
me
his
out.
leg. Okay.
Freaks me out.
Here you go. Watch. Here we go. Check it out.
Totally not paying attention. Whoa!
Whoa.
Minor freak out. I'd probably do worse.
Yeah, that was good. Can we see it one more time, just for giggles? Here it is. And freak out. Little dance there.
The anticipation of him walking is the best part.
This is so great. Don't text and walk, people. All right.
And a baby lamb at a small farm in Canada has found a surprising new family after being rejected by its mother. Meet Stormy the lamb. She was born May 17th on a farm near Hazel Ridge, and her mother immediately rejected her. Luckily, the lamb was not alone for long. Tammy, the farm owner's 1-year-old golden retriever, stepped in and bonded with Stormy. The two are now pretty much inseparable.
Seriously?
Aw,
That's kinda
I
cool.
can't believe the mother rejected it. Look how cute he is.
Yeah.
Yes, animals, sometimes it's hard to understand. I watch these on Facebook, these types of videos, though, of two animals bonding. I could watch that for hours.
Right.
Cute.
Facebook has become such a wealth of just
Videos.
and neat information. Speaking of which, I want to give big props. We talked a little bit about this yesterday about the Wimberley, Texas Facebook. They had a lost and found.
Oh my gosh.
And there was one other company that I wanted to give huge props to, and that is Whataburger. I saw on their Facebook feed yesterday that they were offering for first responders, any uniformed first responder in the Braunfels, San Marcos, the Kyle area, all these areas that have been hit hard. They said, just come in here, meals on us. Thank you for everything you've been doing. Those first responders have been working essentially around the clock for days and days and days now, and so that was their way of giving back. So when good people do good things, they get recognized. So a good shout out to the folks at Whataburger. I thought that was fantastic for them.
That really is awesome.
That's
And
great.
speaking of that Facebook page, I was reading some of the stories and some of the comments, and they're like, I think you told me this yesterday, and as I was looking through it, someone found letters that had washed down the river, and they were from like the 1950s.
Yeah, like military letters.
Military letters.
Yeah.
They were incredible. If you can, go take a look at that page. It's Wimberley Lost and Found, and it's unbelievable. Some of the comments, and people have gotten in touch, and pictures have been returned back to families. It's really
It's so cool. It's one of the things I
incredible.
love about being here in Texas is that everyone, essentially, especially in times of need like this, everyone just comes together. And,
Right.
Everyone
helps everyone.
Oh
It's
man,
incredible.
It is heartwarming to go see. So a big shout out to everyone to doing the right thing there, and hopefully.
And all of the first responders, like you
Oh,
said,
absolutely.
in the area.
just around the clock,
yeah.
working hard. And of course, more rain is anticipated for folks there. That's going to be a big problem, I think, later tonight, tomorrow morning. Here locally, we have our own chance of thunderstorms, 60% chance of that. Though I think, certainly we haven't been hit near as hard as folks to our east. And I think to our east, they're going to get hit even harder than us tonight. Looks like 85 today. With a high temperature there, 60% chance of storms. Some storms will be severe. Heavy rain, hail, high winds, isolated tornadoes are all possible. The storms won't be quite as widespread here, though, as they will be further to the east. We'll see a 20% chance of storms on your Friday, 40% on Saturday, and it will be cooler over the weekend.